The publication of A.P. Sinnett's The Occult World, read by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. This piece is an extract from Madame Blavatsky by George Baseden Butt, published in 1925. The publication of A.P. Sinnett's The Occult World. The Occult World appeared in 1881 and immediately attracted great attention. It brought the tidings of the ancient wisdom to thousands. In this, it did an incalculable amount of good and advertised the Theosophical Society most effectively. Perhaps its chief weakness lies in the matter-of-fact and rather pettifogging style in which it is written, and in the fact that many of the phenomena performed by Madame Blavatsky at Simla, description of which occupies a major portion of the book, unfortunately were carried out under anything but strict scientific test conditions. At the same time, the occult world contains record of some excellent phenomena of an extremely convincing nature. Probably the chief fault of the occult world is that it is so written as to seem to imply that the masters or adepts were an exclusive fraternity, jealous of their occult knowledge and reluctant to reveal truth to the world. Sinnett wrote as though the brothers were aware of an infinite condescension in making public, through the instrumentality of Madame Blavatsky himself, even a very small fraction of occult wisdom. The masters seem to have flung their phenomena to the world much as one might fling a bone to a dog. For instance, Sinnett tells us in The Occult World that if the brothers were to employ themselves on the large, rough business of hacking away at the incredulity of a stolid multitude, at the acrimonious incredulity of the materialistic phalanx, at the terrified and indignant incredulity of the orthodox religious world, it is conceivable that they might, propter vitam vivendi pedere causus, suffer the occult science itself to decay for the sake of persuading mankind that it really did exist. The task of proclaiming the gospel of salvation to the people sitting in darkness is regarded by the esoteric religions as one of the noblest and praiseworthy acts of mercy. But Sinnett was of the opinion that it is impossible to depute one of the brothers to missionary service, while the others keep the occult science itself from decay, because an aspirant for occult honours does not go through the tremendous and prolonged effort required to win him success, in order, at the end of all things, to embrace a life in the midst of the ordinary world, which, on the hypothesis of his success in occultism, must necessarily be repugnant to him in the extreme. Farther on he tells us that the brothers, as already described, have an unconquerable objection to showing off. They do not want to attract candidates for initiation by an exhibition of wonders. This attitude is so noticeable in the occult world that it was commented upon not only by skeptics but even by the Theosophist Dr. Franz Hartmann, who pillories it in the following passage from his satire on the exoteric side of the Theosophical Society, entitled The Talking Image of Urur. He says, "Our reporter asked Mr. Puffer how it came that there were occasionally famines in Africa if the adepts had the power to do such things. Mr. Puffer replied that he had presented this matter to their consideration, but that the adepts had no time to attend to such trifling matters, as their number was small, and it was all they could do to keep the world going. They had something more important to do than satisfy the greed of the paupers." End of quotation. That this sort of impression should have been given was no doubt due to the limitations of outlook on the part of A.P. Sinnett, rather than to hauteur of the masters. It must be remembered that when he wrote The Occult World, Sinnett was only on the threshold of occult knowledge or mystical experience, and there are very valid reasons why the vital secrets of occultism should not be made indiscriminately public, particularly the frightful possibilities of abuse known as black magic.